fasted cardio for you guys and gals. Got 50 pounds on, got my rogue weight vest on. See how this goes. We had a long coffee chat this morning. You guys can get a lot of lives this weekend, I guess. Gonna get a lot of lives. Mainly because they're just good for the outreach here and lets me document stuff. Yeah. All right, these tend to get lively sometimes. So we'll see what we have in here. The only downside is having to go through and get rid of all the trolls. It actually almost slows my cardio. If it wasn't for that, like these would be perfect. One day those people will eventually get bored and get some pussy or something, or a job, and then don't have to worry about it. I don't think they realize how they look to the other people when they're in here doing this stuff. Like they don't look cool or fun or anything else. It's just so strange. But let's see who we get in here. We're a minute deep. Not much happening yet. One person, so at least I know I remembered to make it public. I wish I could set it to where lives automatically went public without me having to change it manually every time. But then my other videos, I don't like that because when I'm trying to upload videos, I need to set them to timers and it'll make them public on me if I set default for the channel. So I want to get a fair amount of cardio in this morning. I do want to continue to tighten up. I definitely still feel the lower back and love handle area needs to tighten up more. So I've got to burn some fat off there while recomping. And again, I feel like the fasted cardio tends to do the most for me for that sort of stuff. I feel like I get a lot out of it in terms of that. Just for overall nutrient partitioning and benefits. Just metabolic health. So yeah, I mean, people have noted, yeah, definitely the change in body composition, and that's quite frankly the biggest factor has been all the fasted training on really high protein. I feel like it's allowed me to chip away at body fat and make gains. So remember everyone, when you get in here, click that like button so we get more people in, because that is really important for getting more people to actually see this hit their feed, right? Kind of important. Thank you, someone already gave me a like. And then we'll get everyone's comments in. So yes, YouTube took my like button away. Why'd they do that? I don't believe you, but that's okay. What did you do to upset the YouTube gods? And we'll see how that happened. There we go. A few more people trickling in. Remember to hit the likes. And let's get some topics going. So it's not a lifting day for me. We didn't train. I've taken the weekends off. For those who realize what I'm doing more of this week, we're going back to normal conjugate rotations, what I'm going to be doing, but I'm going to keep that back in mostly bicep day in the middle of the week because I need bigger arms still. Like my biceps and triceps just need more work, even as I gain muscle in other places and lean out. I actually feel like at this point, I really need just my arms and my pecs, particularly just my whole arm bigger as I get the waistline tightened up. I really do the most for my look, but I also want to get crazy strong again. So, feel like all the conjugate lets me manage the fatigue really well. That's the main thing with it, is that I find the fatigue management is so good on that system. And I hate speed work, by the way. But undeniably, the speed work doesn't beat you up like the maxes do. You just recover better, and yet it gives you so much practice on the lifts and setup. And then that power does carry over. I tend to respond well to speed work because I'm explosive, just naturally. I respond well to it when it making my lifts go up. But yeah, I feel like I grow from it. That's been a thing too, a point of contention. People argue about gaining muscle from speed work, but I've seen people get thicker off speed work, like who had very little else in their workouts, minimal accessory, doing the MEDE. I've seen people actually grow on it. So I think it's viable. Like too many breast of what? Pretty else video. Well, I'm not even. Are you watching breastfeeding videos? Is that even a thing on YouTube? I don't think that they allow that. Like I could be totally wrong. Fred Hatfield was a proponent of speed and lifting. But there's a difference between speed and lifting versus what we're calling, dynamic work, like actual DE work, conjugate style. But yeah, there's a degree of overlap. But yeah, that's been an argument. Some people will say, yeah, but the speed work, you don't get, but you do get hypertrophy because there's that accumulation of upper threshold fibers, right? High volume is what works for my arms. I don't get at least 20 sets of both biceps and triceps. I get minimal gains per week. See, when I didn't get that much out of the crazy gains. Remember when I did that phase where I was doing 20 sets for every muscle and then 40 for my biceps and triceps for a little while? Not only did it get monotonous, it just didn't work that well. But I feel like maybe all the band work will accumulate the extra volume. You guys need to finish up with tons of bands. Honestly, really, the high rep band press downs for really high volumes did seem to help me get that 265 close grip before. I think it was a big factor. But yeah, probably something I'd keep doing is the band work, at least for the really high volume for my arms. But I feel like, yeah, for me, the biceps, I really need to be sticking to the stuff that really hits them hardest for me, where I feel them the most, and that's the incline curls and the preacher curls. I get the deepest burn in my arms from those, personally. So I think I'm going to just stick with those with dumbbells on those bicep days and just then hammer bands at the end. But I think definitely for both of my benching days, I feel like I definitely need to finish up with a lot of band press downs because I just get a lot out of it. At least I saw a large correlation there when my incline was climbing a few years ago. Those band press downs really helped with the lockout strength, and I felt like my triceps were a little bigger. But the issue I have is that my overall size is a problem. It's always going to be a proportion issue. Because I'm going to have a big torso naturally. Like I had really wide shoulders and a big thick rib cage before I started lifting. Like people thought I lifted or played football or whatever when I was younger. And then the longer arms. Shane Hammond had an incredibly fast squat, a true monster. Larry Scott, among others, got results from spider curls. Larry Scott was big on preacher curls, actually. But I get a pretty good burn out of preacher curls. The incline curls, definitely. The problem is, the incline curls are actually painful for me. But I need to keep doing them. It's not like it's a bad pain, but they definitely take me out of my comfort zone, But that makes sense because they give that different stretch. It's kind of a unique stretch on the incline curl. It's just that it hurts like hell. But, if I want my arms to grow, you have to embrace it a little bit. So, also guys, there's multiple of you commenting and only 2 likes. So if y'all would give Daddy a like, I would appreciate that because that is how we get people in here. Right? That's how people get this into their feed. So give Daddy a like. Hit that like button for me. There we go. We got another one. Give me a couple more. All right. Yeah, my other body parts definitely respond much better to training than my arms do. Yeah. It's the nature of it. It's always crazy though when these smaller guys hammer their arms hard and they have these big disproportionate arms. I see a lot of that. And then it's that's a totally different look too. The problem is because there's so much disproportionate of it, people run with it. It's not seen as unfavorable. I think particularly because bodybuilding has so much side enhancement too in the arms. The proportions people think are normal aren't there. I mean, that is the thing though. Kind of the culture has created a disproportionate look being the favorite. Like if everyone actually did just balanced training, you wouldn't see quite as big of arms. But we've kind of created a culture of where arms are overdeveloped. With a lot more isolation, it's just a look that you're going to be expected to have. And it is that simple. Arnold considered the dumbbell concentration curls a cornerstone of his arm training. Arnold did so many different types of curls though. How do you know that he considered that? I read his books and stuff too, and I never saw him say that. Did he change this position in the last 10 or 20 years? Arnold did like 7 different types of curls. All right, crazy how many years I've neglected them because I focus on powerlifting instead of aesthetics. Yeah, I mean, the same thing for me, Doing a few curls is an afterthought at the end of a bench session really doesn't cut it. Mainly because you've used up all your peripheral nervous system on the other stuff and you're just not going to get as many of the muscle fibers. It's different if you do triceps after pressing because they've been used all the way through. Whereas in something like biceps, it really doesn't work that well to do them at the end of a bench session. It just doesn't. Unless you just have good arm genetics. I met him in Warrington. Yeah, but Lee Priest is a squidget. He's like shorter than the other bodybuilders, and they're all short. So really short guys always look like they have big arms. Now granted, Lee Priest was his own weird genetic freak. But the problem is, Bone Crusher, that doesn't help the rest of us. Right? Those of us who are not 5'3" with really crazy bicep and tricep insertions are just not going to pull that off. I'm 5'9", which would be 6 foot in social media stats, or in millennial height would be 6 foot. But that 5'9" in real life. All right. I figured that out already. I've already judged it by every guy I talk to. Millennials all add 3 inches of their height. That's the standard rule. Millennial men. All right. I figured this out due to guys I've met who are in that age bracket when they tell you their height, and I know mine, and they stand next to me and perform expos and stuff. So they use a 3-inch rule. So, all right. Coach, how do you talk so while doing cardio? You get used to it. I spent a few years having a dedicated arm day on top of working them on the other days and made a big difference, and it's what I attribute to my now proportionate. Yep, how big are your arms? They're like 16 and a half or so now, ballpark. So they need to come up, but I'm now doing more dedicated arm work these days, so it'll come along. It's just gonna take time. But the main thing is I gotta have, like he said, dedicated arm work. I can't just do curls after I bench press. It's not gonna work. I'm 6'4", trade at least 4 inches of my height for good arm genetics. I have permanent swimmer's arms. It's because of your height. Tall guys will always struggle to have that same proportion unless you start pinning them. So don't compare yourself to serious bodybuilders. They all cite, all of them. Every single guy at the Mr. Olympia, all the way down to the men's physique at this point, side enhance. So, but yeah, I agree. You're probably better off being 6'4". You're worried about arm proportions in a picture when you're just gonna mog every guy, right? So don't worry about it. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with the other guys. You're literally pulling a silly grass is greener on the other side. I mean, there's more space. There's more space for the muscle to spread out, but their proportions are never going to be, is what he's saying. There's a reason tall guys don't win bodybuilding shows, right? Hey, Bone, but Lou Ferrigno wouldn't win today. Do you see any guys 6 foot plus at the Mr. Olympia today? Zero. I don't mean claimed height, I mean real height. I promise you, there has not been a man over 5'10" on an Olympia stage, any class, for 20 years. So what does that tell you? The average pro bodybuilder I've met who is at that level is about 5'6", 5'5" to 5'6". Yeah, Lou wouldn't even qualify. He wouldn't place, let alone he wouldn't even get an invite, and that's the problem. There's no way Chris Bumstead's 6'1". I've seen him pictures next to other guys with confirmed heights. I do not believe that. All right, Coach, if you had to say ever colonized Britain, what? No, because I don't want to live in a cold place again. Today's open cannot hold a candle to the golden era. Well, I agree, it looks horrible. But C-Bum still doesn't look good. So, if you want to use golden era standards, C-Bum has too much oil in his delts and he's too shredded to actually have an aesthetic physique by most standards. They want them all to be too lean. They're too sliced up. They're too striated. But C-Bum has way too much shit in his shoulders. Like, it actually, the first time I saw him, I didn't even know who he was. I was hurt. I was like, oh my God, I bet his shoulders hurt from all that shit he shoots in them. Man, it's just a lot of oil in there. And I get it, you got to put it somewhere, and delts are a good spot, but still. Serge Nubret wasn't underrated. If you place the second number 2 bodybuilder in the entire world, that's not underrated. That's getting some bona fides. I mean, that's a silly statement. Zayn had a time with physique, he taught my uncle. I agree. Zayn, one of the better looking, definitely. Coach, do you want to meet? I could care less. I don't hero worship people. So even though I might appreciate or respect someone's work, to me, people are just people. I don't care about meeting a certain person. I don't celebrity worship. I don't hero worship. It's not my thing. It never has been. Which is why I think it's weird that people obsess over me as stalkers. I'm just a person. You guys need to get lives. Coach, do you want to meet? No. 5 milligrams are a good starting point on top of a test base. I don't think you're going to see anything over. What? You're talking about for a man or a woman? Like, no, 20 milligrams is a start. I mean, no one talks about him nowadays like Minzer. Well, because he didn't have any training philosophies. Minzer has a cult following because of outlandish claims and creating a training system. Right? I mean, what would there be to talk about with Serge Nubret? He didn't put out any training info. He didn't coach people. He didn't do anything like that. So there's nothing to talk about other than the pictures. So, right? Okay. All right. So that's why they don't talk about it. It's not that people don't give him credit for the bodybuilding. He just didn't put out any information. We have his pictures and posing. That's it. You know, we know that he liked to eat horses. He liked horse meat. I mean, which that would actually make him really unpopular. Like, if the little info we had from interviews and discussions was ever put out, people would hate Serge Nubret. I mean, I can tell you that. That's a funny one. I mean, one of the few things we know about him is that he ate horse meat every day. I mean, that would make him insanely unpopular in many, many cultures and circles. People love horses, you know. Mike Minzer did F2. That was kind of the understanding, yeah. But I mean, kind of par for the course in the pro bodybuilding world. All right. Recreational drugs are widespread in bodybuilding. Again, another reason some of them drop dead. It's the polydrug abuse. That's the problem. Like, people are screaming, oh, it's the steroids. Like, almost nobody has ever died from steroids. The estimated death toll from that is so astronomically small by medical doctors and statistics. That's not what's killing people. It's the excessive amounts of steroids they use, the excessive body weight, the diuretics, the insulin, IGF-1, just the whole combinations with all the stimulants and then the recreational drugs on top of it, while being 300 pounds. Like, this is a recipe for death. Can the penor be trained like a normal muscle? No, it's not a muscle. All right. At least you guys stopped asking me stuff like that finally, since the OnlyFans. Because now dudes know I'm just come laugh at them and roll my eyes. And they're like, hey, coach, I got a small penis. Do you have advice? I'm just like, I can fuck your girlfriend for you. I mean, I don't have advice to dudes with a small penor. I don't have any concept of your world experience. So I can't relate to you. I don't know what to tell you other than to be born with a bigger penis, you know? Well, they know I'm packing now because I have an OnlyFans. But I can't relate to your experience. Like, I have no concept of what it feels like or the mindset. Like, I can't relate, you know? Just like a person who is born with money will never be able to relate to someone who's struggled to get where they are. They won't be able to relate. It's not their life experience. I think NoFap is terrible for your mental and physical health. I think semen retention is terrible for your physical and mental health. And anyone telling you to do it does not have your best interest in mind. Why do you care about being more than above average? I actually don't have autism. I've had full psychological diagnosis. I've had lots of therapy. You guys know this. There's never been any indication that I'm on the spectrum at all. I mean, we can joke about that on the internet, but truthfully, I'm actually, there's no signs of it at all. No therapist who's ever talked to me ever even thought that I was on the spectrum. So, and I get it, it's an internet thing. You guys love to throw that term around. And it is a growing thing to where it's been identified more. But no, I can't relate to that either. Fair? I mean, you want a fair answer, like, let's just give 100% honest answer instead of joking. I mean, I can make jokes about it and be like, I have my +5 weight vest of autism on. But it's actually not true. And I decided to not say stuff like that because to be honest, it's probably not cool to make fun of people on the spectrum. You know what I mean? So I shouldn't be making jokes like that when I'm not on it, because it's kind of, it's belittling to those people who legitimately have it, you know? And that's kind of not cool. Especially when I did that thing, I did those little charity things on my Facebook for Autism Speaks and stuff. And it made me start thinking about things like that. You know, there are things that maybe it's not so cool to joke about. And I get it. I mean, humor's humor. Boost the likes up for daddy. That's right, guys. Why don't we have likes? I'm walking into trees looking at those likes. That's right. Get those likes up for daddy. That's the downside to walking through this area, those low-hanging branches. If I'm looking at the screen, I got to watch for them, because I'm seeing the ground. There we go. Get those likes up for daddy. Click that button. Make it sexy. Is it pollen up there? You sound more winded. Yeah, it's a lot of pollen. It was all over my screen yesterday. I was trying to get back. So yeah, it's heavily. Like, look at my shoes. Hold on. Will it let me? Right? They're all covered in pollen. My boots, they're all yellow. Okay. Do you still think women like and notice guys' butts? Obviously. That's not even subject to debate. There's no further discussion. That's been studied. Women will tell you that when you ask them, number one. Number two, it's been studied by psychologists. It's pretty well a fact. Women care about your butt. I gotta clear my nose. So, look, here's what you're gonna find. Everybody should train their glutes, okay? I don't care what your sexual orientation or your gender is. Everyone likes a butt. Women like butts on men. Gay dudes like butts on men. Straight dudes like butts on women. So, and I don't know what lesbians like. So barring them, everybody should train their glutes. Everybody. It's gonna help you. It's gonna improve your sexual market value. Oh, people are going, we're gonna use that term, right? Women love that squat booty. I learned that years ago. Yeah, they like a squat booty. They like a muscular butt. All right, guys. Seriously, though, get those likes up for daddy. Come on. We got 6 likes in this at 27 minutes in. Click that like button for me. Go on. Probably not enough people to get the likes up because we didn't get enough likes early on to make this stream actually flow. So there's not going to be anyone in here to click the like button, unfortunately. Thank you for the calf compliment. I almost want to go walk in the other areas out here in the sunlight, but I'm scared I'm not going to be able to see the screen. Are lunges good for quads? Objectively speaking, yes. Lunges are a perfectly valid quad and glute exercise. Right? Just don't ask me, can they replace squats? They're a supplemental lift. Guys, you pass must do a double take. I get a lot of compliments and comments. The neighborhood groups joke about it. It's been funny on occasion. Because again, it's like everyone knows who everyone is in here. There's no strangers running around up and down these streets, really. I like sissy squats as a finisher. I think sissy squats are a good exercise too. I used to not like them, but then I realized they're actually pretty good. You know, they're pretty good exercise. All right. Might turn back around and go back this way, walk a little more. Part of me is wanting to just go home, but I'm hoping if we can get this stream picking up, I'll stay interested enough to keep talking. I love imagining your neighbors passing by and going, oh, it's Blaha doing his thing. Yep. I mean, they're pretty used to it. I'm also been very friendly in my neighborhood. Like, I pitched in and helped a lot, like during the hurricane stuff. So that's why when silly goofball stalkers and stuff try to contact neighbors and other people, it's like, are they going to tell them terrible things about this guy they know who helped move and cut and haul trees out of their yards that the storm blocked down for free? They're like, yeah, whatever, dude. You know, it's like, oh, the guy who my leg was cut and I couldn't do it came and helped me move a mattress up my stairs after the flooding. Yeah, totally gonna hate that guy. Coach, would you ever consider doing a second Blaha Reacts? No, absolutely not. I'm not going to do reaction videos. Kane, what if you're incorporating sissy squats into your leg day and then you do for squats? I'm not going to use one of those to target my biceps. That sounds a little strange, homie. Would lateral raises be better done on chest or tricep day or back? You know, we could argue about that all day long. I think laterals can probably be thrown in anywhere if you're not going to do a dedicated shoulder day, because they do get, the side delts get worked on pressing and pulling to some extent. What's for breakfast? I had 6 eggs. Probably going to be some chicken. I cooked a bunch of drumsticks, so I got some Cajun drumsticks, like some spicy ones, all prepped up. And I do some eggs. I might cook some cheese into the eggs and then throw a couple avocados on the plate with it. All right, most likely what I'm going to do. Yep. Yeah, no, steak, eggs, some blueberries, that's solid. It's just that I'm not really doing many carbs like that at the moment. Coach, if NH started in OnlyFans, you think, sure, he's got all those followers, and they probably fat to him. Although that would be interesting because he talks about the degeneracy thing. But how many of the guys who obsess over degeneracy are all struggling with their own in-closet stuff? So I think he would get a pretty big following off his followers. I think he would do okay on it. Speaking of which, guys, if you don't follow my OnlyFans, go check it out. All right. I'm doing more custom content on there now, though. And it's not even nude stuff. That's the funny thing. I do pay-per-view for the nudes, but those are all just sent out mass. Like, I'm getting requests for just flexing videos. Like, literally, I'll give you $15 if you flex for 45 seconds with your shirt off. Like, bam, done. Takes me 1 minute. I'm getting a lot of stuff like that. It's kind of funny. Tonight is lamb chops and guacamole. Hey, Steven, I feel like I've discussed it ad nauseum. Like, I don't even want to give my whole business model, to be honest. Like, do I really want to reveal my entire business model? Other than I'm going to cash in on every aspect of my name, my physique's improved. I'm going to cash in everywhere I can. I want to monetize everything. And then grow all my stuff and use it all to grow my coaching business. Problem, you have to pay me to wink at the camera. But I don't discuss that here. Hey, no problem. If you have a request, you need to join my OnlyFans and ask me. I'm not going to discuss specifics in here. Yeah, I probably could sell my underwear. Good, I don't have a request, dude. Yeah, you just had one. You asked me if I'd wink for the camera. That's a request. Well, we obviously do eyebrow raises on here all the time. I need to tie my shoe, though. My boot lace. Even though I double lace them, they still come untied on these walks. In a diluted world. Good, I don't have a request. All right. Let me set the phone down. I got to tie my boot lace. All right. All right. Oop. Give me a second. What gave you the inspiration to start YouTube? My best friend told me one time, why don't you do something like that? You know way more about lifting and all these people making videos. So that was that. And then I was chatting with Ian McCarthy when he first started his. He's like, they just monetized me. I'm like making a little money on mine. You should consider doing it. I'm like, what? You're getting paid for this? And he said, yeah. So I went ahead and did it the next day. There's the whole backstory. Yeah, when Ian McCarthy told me he was, because I've been told before I should do it. And then I was chatting with Ian, and he had started his like 3 weeks before, and he got monetized. And so Ian McCarthy is probably a factor. He's like, yeah, you should totally do it too. He's like, I made like $100. I'm like, what? Just for making a couple videos? So with the coaching and OnlyFans now, you must be, oh, you're being silly. Damn, Ian was partly responsible. Big up to Ian, right? Well, because he told me he was making money, and I'm like, oh, okay, I could make a little pocket change, a little side hustle. I didn't know that it would turn into a major business over time and all these other stuff. I was literally thinking, oh man, I make an extra $100 here or there. $50 extra pocket money for something I like doing. What do you mean, how do I pay taxes on it? Do you not know how taxes work? They report it to the IRS, and you pay taxes on it like you do other income, right? You're aware that all of your social media reports to the IRS, right? Life is great. I remember those years too. We never thought YouTube would become so profitable, right? The day and age, $1 million isn't out of this realm, sweetie. I'm not in America. Oh, well then, why do we care about how Americans pay taxes if you're not an American? I'm just saying, it's no reason to chill out. It's just a strange question. Because that just seems strange that you didn't know how taxes work. And it's like, well, so if you're not an American, why? It seems like a strange question then. Like, I hate taxes personally. Oh, there we go. So he's just a hater troll. All right. Yeah, to be fair, $1 million isn't what it once was, is it? Even though you use social media, do you think overall has a negative impact? No. Nope. Social media has allowed me to create businesses from home, to work for myself. And it's allowed many other people to do that. So social media is amazing. If you choose to use it negatively, that's your problem. But no, I mean, for entrepreneurs, for anyone running their own business, it's phenomenal. Like, it's great. What's up, JT? How you doing? I might be winding this down. Where are you from? Originally or currently? I mean, I've lived in 2 different countries while doing YouTube, but I'm back home in the great Republic of Texas, greatest country on the world. All right, Coach, I'm against monetization of YouTube on principle of respect. Dude, I'm for monetizing everything. Every single social media I have is monetized, all of it. All of it. Both my Facebooks, my Instagram, my YouTube, my OnlyFans, all of it. No, we've already discussed why I don't jog. I'm not going to listen to a clown tell me how to program as a strength athlete. How does that sound? You stay in your lane. You don't coach elite strength athletes for a living. You don't get to tell me how to train. Fair? No, I've never been to Vermont. I don't know anyone who's been to Vermont now that I think about it. It's more from my own selfish perspective. I miss the old internet. Okay. Okay, cool. I'm gonna put you in timeout for a day. You can come back tomorrow when you have a better attitude. Coach, put that clown in his place. Aside from health, financial security brings a great life. Yep. I mean, health and financial security are the big ones. Is it possible to use body weight? Hey, Steve, you sound like you're really obsessed with these things. You should join my OnlyFans, where you can see my big WC for $10 a picture. After you, of course, you got to pay the membership too. So, all right. Yep. That's what I charge per pick. And it's making a little money. People are paying it. And they've all been happy. I've had no complaints. I've had every single person was happy with their purchase. We've seen it on the... no, you haven't. Oh, we've seen what? You haven't seen the Pinot pics. Do you do FaceTime? I've had requests. I said I'd think about it. I think the offer I got so far was $10 per minute for FaceTime. So I'm gonna think about it. So, you know, might be possible. Is there any movie that has a better opening scene than Inglorious Bastards? It's a pretty solid movie. It's a pretty solid movie. Now, there's a lot. I can tell you a crazy dramatic opening scene for a movie. How about, what was it? I saw it in the theater. Saving Private Ryan. Dude, I saw that in the theater. That's how old I am. Imagine that, and no one has seen it yet, and we see that D-Day opening scene in the theater. It was just horrific, right? Do you have a CPA? No, I don't have a CPA personally. Are you asking, do I use an accountant? Yeah, I use an accountant. I don't personally, am not a CPA. Do leg extensions work all parts of the quad? Yeah, to some extent. Let's use hiring. Baron, join my OnlyFans and you can discuss whatever commission work. I did some commission work on there this morning, actually. I did some yesterday and today. So, all right, guys, I'm pretty much home. I'm going to wind this down. Love all you guys and gals, and I'll talk to you next time.